In this video, I'm going to show you how to relieve wrist pain in 30 seconds. Let's dive in. Hey there, Dr. Walter Salubro here, chiropractor in Vaughan, Ontario, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to relieve wrist pain in as little as 30 seconds. Wrist pain can be a common problem if you're typing on the computer all day, if you're using devices and texting on your mobile devices like your cell phone and your tablets. So knowing some exercises that will take you through a series of stretches and mobilizations can really give you some instant wrist pain relief in as little as 30 seconds. These exercises are safe to do, they're effective, they can be done at home or at your office. How I'm going to show you these exercises is going to be through a progression of stretches, full wrist mobilization, and also carpal bone mobilization where your carpal tunnel is. Let's do this. Keep watching. The first step is to relieve that stiffness inside your wrists. And the best way to do this is with mobilization exercises. The first mobilization exercise is going to be a straightforward wrist extension and wrist flexion, also called dorsiflexion and palmar flexion. So take your hand, take your wrist, and just gently move it up and down, up and down. As you do this, you can feel the actual tension begin to relieve in there, and you can feel the wrist loosen up from its stiffness. You can do 10 repetitions of this, even 20 repetitions, even up to 30 repetitions, as many reps as you feel is necessary. It's a complete, safe, and easy exercise to do. You can do it right at home or in your office at your desk. And be sure that you do both hands, okay? So 20, 30 reps of both hands. Nice, smooth rhythm, fluid motion that's comfortable for you. So that's the first exercise. The second exercise to relieve stiffness in the wrist and also ease some of that pain in there is also mobilization, but in a different direction. We're going to take the wrist and we're going to now go and do some side to side mobilization. So this is called ulnar deviation. This is radial deviation. Simply put, you're doing side to side wrist mobility. So you're targeting the wrist in all directions. And you want to loosen up that stiffness that's in there. Again, if you've been typing all day, texting all day, using screen time with your hands and fingers, this is a great way to relieve that stiffness inside your wrist. The second step now is to get some flexibility into your wrist by stretching the forearm muscles. I'm going to show you two stretches. The first set of stretches is going to be to stretch the extensor muscles here. So these muscles feed into the wrists. When they become tight, can cause aches and pains also inside the wrist because you're using them all day long. So take out your hand like this, and to stretch the extensor muscles, you're going to bend your wrist like I showed you in the previous exercise. Take the other hand, gently pull your hand into that flex position. You can even go down like this and get some nice stretch inside the extensor muscles here. You want to hold this stretch for 10 seconds. Once you've held it for 10 seconds, release, and then do it 3 times. And you'll actually feel the tension relieving inside those muscles. When I show my patients these exercises and stretches, they find a lot of relief inside these muscles and it feels really good. So I'm doing my third rep right now. Again, this is stretching those common extensor muscles from the elbow that feed into the wrist. Now, if it feels sore in here, that's part of the process. We're going to relieve that tension and soreness with all these exercises. So just do it to your ability and tolerance. But it is really a safe and effective stretch to do. Okay. Now we're going to stretch now the flexor muscles. So the next exercise, you're going to bend your hand into that dorsiflexion position. You're going to turn your forearm the other direction. Take the other hand and now pull and give it a gentle stretch into the wrist, into the forearm muscles that feed into the wrist. Hold that for 10 seconds, a good 10 count, right? 10 seconds, hold, you release, and repeat it 3 times, okay? You can feel a lot of tension being released inside those muscles, and again, getting a nice full range stretch inside your wrist as well. For some of you, you may see that your elbow may just bend that much because they're really tight. These flexor muscles are tight. So it's a really good exercise to release that tight muscles and that tightness in those muscles and also the tension that leads right into the wrists. So that's how you relieve that stiffness and that lack of flexibility inside the forearm that leads into the wrist, give you a lot of relief of wrist pain with that. Now the third step is to dive right into those individual carpal bones inside the wrist area and really work out the kinks and the stiffness in there to give lots of relief of wrist pain. So what you're going to do is, let's say we're working on the right wrist. Take your other hand and take your index finger and thumb in a pincer format and wrap it around the right wrist. And you're going to find the section of the wrist that's bending, okay? So I'll get some close-ups in here so you can see. And what I wanted you to do with this hand is you're going to grab inside those carpal bones and you're going to gently distract the wrist in this direction. So if you can imagine, I'm distracting this elbow like this, I'm pincering, holding the carpal bones and distracting that way. So I'm doing a gentle distraction into the wrist, and in doing that, I'm now going to go up and down with this hand and get those individual carpal bones mobilized, okay? So distract right, pull left, and individually mobilize. If you can see in there, I'll get a close-up in there, I'm getting those bones mobilized. I can also go into the flex position, I can go into the extension position, and go from out to in, and in to out, and just really mobilize those carpal bones. Of course, I can switch on this side, so again, find the bend point in the wrist, elbow, pull left, this one distract right, and just mobilize those individual carpal bones. It feels really good. You get a lot of relief of the stiffness in those individual carpal bones and get that ache and stiffness and pain released inside the wrist. If you got some wrist pain relief with these exercises, do subscribe to the channel. It really helps support the channel and get it out to more people. Also, let me know in the comments below which exercise you like the best. Was it the mobilization exercise that I showed at the beginning, or was it the forearm wrist stretch exercise? Comment below. Also like and share this video, like this other people can benefit as well.